6-4 in the teal hymn book. You're welcome to stand if you feel like standing as you sing.
Sometimes it is good just to hear songs that we love. I am the Reverend Kristina Spaude. I use she, her pronouns, and am a white woman. I am tall with not quite shoulder-length curly brown hair, parted on one side, and blue eyes. We are out of order, aren't we? Okay. Do it. I'm so excited for everything this morning.
As we begin again, welcome, dear friends. Welcome to our spiritual home, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Tarpon Springs. My name is Barbara Rosen, and I'm serving as your worship associate today. I use she, her pronouns, and am a white older woman with glasses, white hair, green eyes, and defiant clothing. We want to acknowledge that here at the church, we are on the lands of the Tocobaga and Seminole peoples. We are a church of many welcomes, and we offer a warm welcome to all of you. This is a liberal community for all ages, promoting spiritual growth, social justice, and the arts. To learn more about our events, our church calendar is on our website, uutarpon.org, or we'd be happy to talk with you during the coffee hour. For those present with us in the building, we have connection cards available in the pews near the hymnals. If you fill one out, we'll be able to keep in touch with you. You can also connect with us if you send us an email at membership@uutarpon.org to get connected. There are also small cards to write any joys or concerns if you would like to share them and you prefer to do it in writing. Our music is provided by Bonnie Whitehurst. Again, welcome. Our opening hymn is number 126 in the gray hymnal, Come, Thou Fount of Every Blessing.
We already sang our opening hymn. Sorry. We covered that. We could do Spirit of Life. I'm not really sure where we are.
We are all so excited this morning. Our opening words come from Kimberly Ann Tomzik Carlson. This is a place of belonging and caring. It is not by chance that you arrived here today. You have been looking for something larger than yourself. Inside of you, there is a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. Through your struggles, someone nurtured you into being, instilling a belief in a shared purpose, a common yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And so you began seeking a beloved community, a people that does not put fences around love, a community that holds its arms open to the possibilities of love, a heart home to nourish your soul and share your gifts. Welcome home. Welcome to worship. Come, let us worship together.
We light our chalice with these words from Laura Horton Ludwig. Fire and water, ancient opposites, sun and ocean, the cradle of life, dancing flame and dancing river. We invoke them together today as we kindle our chalice flame. And now we will do Spirit of Life, number 123 in the gray hymnal. Right.
Okay, so at the end of this part, everybody's going to need their raindrops or clouds and markers. Does everybody have one? Okay. So our story for today is Higgins, A Drop with a Dream by Chris Bice. Once upon a time, there was a drop of water named Higgins. Higgins was no ordinary drop of water. He was a drop with a dream. Higgins lived in a valley where it had not rained in a very long time, not unlike our area this summer. So all the lovely green grass was turning brown, all the beautiful flowers were wilting, and all of the trees were starting to droop. Higgins had a dream that one day the valley would be beautiful again. But what could he do? After all, he was only one drop of water. One day, Higgins decided to travel and tell the others about his dream. All the other drops listened very politely, but no one believed that his dream would come true. "Higgins," said one, "get your head out of the clouds. You can't spend your whole life dreaming." Higgins decided that he had to do something to make his dream come true. So he began to think and think and think. One day, as he was walking by a rusty old bucket, he got an idea. If enough of us drops of water got together in this bucket, Higgins thought, there would be enough water to sprinkle on a few flowers to help them grow and become beautiful again. Eagerly, Higgins told everyone about his great idea, but everyone thought he was being foolish. "That Higgins is nothing but a dreamer," they said. Higgins decided that he had to do something to convince the others that he was right. So he said to them, "I don't know about you, but I'm getting into the bucket. I hope that some of you will join me. Then there might be enough water to help at least some flowers grow beautiful again." So Higgins ran as hard as he could, and he hopped way up in the air and landed with a kerplunk in the bottom of the bucket. It was a loud noise for such a small drop. And there he sat, just a drop in the bucket. For a long time, Higgins was very lonely. It seemed like no one else was going to join him. But after a while, some of the other drops could see that the grass was dying, and the flowers were wilting, and the trees were drooping. They all agreed that something must be done. Suddenly, one drop shouted, "I'm going in the bucket with Higgins." And he leaped through the air and landed kerplunk in the bucket. Then two other drops yelled, "Wait for us!" And they hopped through the air and landed in the bucket. Then 10 drops jumped through the air into the bucket. Then 30, then 50, and then hundreds of drops came from all around just to hop in the bucket. Soon, the bucket was completely full of water, but there were still more drops that wanted to join, so they found another bucket and hopped into that. Before long, there were 2 buckets of water, and then 3, and then 4, and then 10, and then hundreds, and then thousands of buckets of water. Along came a powerful breeze that blew over all the buckets, and all the water flowed together to make a mighty stream. Everywhere the water flowed, the grass turned green again, and the flowers bloomed, and the trees stood up tall and straight once more. All this happened because Higgins had a dream, and his dream came true. Because he knew that although he was just a drop in the bucket, enough drops in the bucket make a bucket full. And when there are enough buckets with the wind behind them, Then justice will roll down like waters, and peace like a mighty stream. So before the spirits of our children and youth leave, I would like to invite us to take our raindrops or clouds and your markers. So Higgins was a drop with a dream. As part of our water ceremony today, I want you to think about what your dreams are for this congregation this year. What are the things that you want to help make happen that you cannot do alone? This is not a time to volunteer things for other people to do. I want you to write something that you would do with your name on it so that you can connect with each other about your ideas. If you are visiting today, you can just wish us abundant love or something of that kind. And if you can't think of anything else to write, building relationships is a vital component of being part of this congregation. We're going to collect all of these raindrops and clouds in a moment, or you can bring them to the social hall after the service, and we're going to put them up on the bulletin board. The drops and clouds will represent the blessings that we together will rain down on this congregation in the coming year so that we can help us grow in strength. And while you think, I'm going to read a meditation. This is The Strength of Water by Jamila Batchelder and Molly Hush-Gordon. The strength of water takes on many, many forms, just as each of you has a unique and necessary strength that you bring to our community and to the work of love. Take a moment now to drop down into the deep wellspring of your own spirit and bathe yourself in the strength that is the groundwater of your person. Are you a roaring fall wearing rock away with sheer force of will? Are you a tiny drop of water in a crevice, breaking it open slowly, steadily? Are you buoyant, like a great salt lake, practiced at holding others aloft? Are you tenacious like the mountain stream, finding your way down and around every obstacle? Are you still and calm like the pond at daybreak, offering radiant peace by your shores? Are you in touch with hidden depths, pulling from a vast well? Do you soothe like the steam rising from a cup of tea? Do you dissolve away stubborn muck like water left in a pot to soak? Do you soften and soothe the edges like a creeping fog? Do you clear away distraction like a cleansing rain? Do you roll with the ebb and flow like the ocean waves? Settle your mind upon the strength, the power that is yours. Draw that strength into your heart. Draw it up into your soul. As we gather together the many waters of this community, we need each of your power, each of your resilience, each of your love to make us whole. We will collect the raindrops and the clouds during the offering. And now we will sing hymn number 413 in the gray hymnal. Go now in peace, as we celebrate having children and youth who are not actually here today.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the light of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the light of love now in peace. May the light of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you
Now is the time in our service where we take our offering for the work and welfare of this church. Ours is a free faith which must sustain itself financially. Please go to our website, uutarpon.org, and click on the donate button, or you may mail your offering to the church at 57 Reed Street, Tarpon Springs, Florida, 34689. For those of you with us in person in the sanctuary, place your offering in the offering plates as they are passed. And the music is Down to the River to Pray? Yes. Good.
We will now take a brief moment of silence to let you settle into yourselves and your seats. Might take a few deep breaths into your belly if that's comfortable for you, and just try to relax. I have two readings for you this morning. The first comes from Grounded, Finding God in the World, A Spiritual Revolution by Diana Butler Bass. She writes, "It's easy to see how water makes us feel better physically and emotionally, but there is a spiritual benefit as well. Neurological studies about water bear a striking resemblance to studies conducted on prayer and meditation. Indeed, people who are near or in water express higher levels of happiness and often demonstrate better health outcomes. So too do people who pray and meditate." Wallace Nichols, who never overtly writes of religion in his book Blue Mind, connects water with meditation, edging toward the territory of theology. He writes, "Several years ago, I came up with a name for this human-water connection. Blue Mind, a mildly meditative state characterized by calm, peacefulness, unity, and a sense of general happiness and satisfaction with life in the moment. It is inspired by water and elements associated with water, from the color blue to the words we use to describe the sensations associated with immersion. It takes advantage of neurological connections formed over millennia, many such brain patterns and preferences being discovered only now, thanks to innovative scientists and cutting-edge technology." Bass continues, "Today, science explores the objective dimensions of water and wellness, but the interplay between water, wellness, and spirituality was well known to our ancestors. Primal myths shared this ancient wisdom, and creation stories extolled the divine nature of water. Past generations built healing wells, spas, and baths, and archaeological remains still testify to their faith in water. Great religions created their rituals around water. Science can now map our neural pathways when we gather at the river, and psychologists can demonstrate the connection between happiness and water. But they are only proving something that our souls have always known. Water holds deep wisdom. It keeps our ancient memories of origins and our creaturely dependence. But we forget. From time to time, we need to be reminded that water is essential to health and happiness." Our second reading comes from Judy Brown. This is Trough. "There is a trough in waves, a low spot where horizon disappears, and only sky and water are our company. And there we lose our way unless we rest, knowing the wave will bring us to its crest again. There we may drown if we let fear hold us in its grip and shake us side to side and leave us flailing, torn, disoriented. But if we rest there in the trough, in silence, being in the low part of the wave, keeping our energy and noticing the shape of things, the flow, then time alone will bring us to another place where we can see horizon, see land again, regain our sense of where we are and where we need to swim."
We are living on this journey through thoughts and feelings, binding intuition, head and heart. I am gathering the tools together. I'm preparing to do my part. All those who have come before me band together and to be my guide. Loving lessons that I will follow. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living in the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the streams together. Some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings and living soil. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. When we get there, we'll discover all the gifts we've been given to share have been with us since life's beginning, and we never noticed that through there. We can balance at the brink of wisdom, never recognizing that we arrived. Loving spirits will live together. We're all swimming to the other side. Living in the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together. Some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings and living soil. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side.
Good job. Good job.
My mom tells this story of when I was maybe 16 months old. She was giving me a bath, and at the end, she went to take me out. Evidently, I was not done, and I screamed so long and so hard that I passed out. My mother panicked because she thought I died and called the doctor. I guess this is a thing that littles do sometimes when their lungs can't keep up with it, so they pass out. Since the first time that she told me that story, I have said that it was a warning not to take me out of the water. My father is a swimmer, although he doesn't really do it much anymore. But he was a lifeguard and swam competitively in high school. And you know it was something that he loved because his school didn't have a swimming pool, and so he had to go to another school when their team wasn't using their pool to get his practice time in. So I remember being in and around water often. We would go to the shores of Lake Erie in the summer. I went to swim lessons for years. We always had pool passes, and my grandparents even had a pond in their backyard that we would swim and canoe in. My grandfather earnestly taught my sister and I how to fish, as he had his own children before us, but I never really got into that. I can say that now, he's not here anymore. And the sound of rain itself has always been something that I have loved. I remember one CVS that I worked in particularly that had a metallic roof, and the sound of rain was so loud in there. It was rhythmic and soothing and felt like being taken to another time. Sacred, maybe, even in that deep seat of capitalism. Water has meaning for all of us. Our own bodies are made up of something like 50 to 60% water. We need water to survive. We are also carried by sounds and smells, sights and feelings of water. And of course, we use symbolism with water for lots of things. One of our hymns uses the phrase, "Drops of a water turn a mill, singly none, singly none." And another that we all know well, "Where justice shall roll down like waters and peace like an ever-flowing stream." Water shapes so much of the experience of living in Florida, with people boating, kayaking or canoeing, swimming, lounging, fishing, touring. We go to restaurants at the water's edge. We have homes overlooking some body of water. And it's not always the lovely experiences, of course, but also hurricanes and tropical storms, along with the flooding that we sometimes have. Water is a symbol of cleansing, of renewing, of washing away, of letting go, of possibility. Being in water is where we might be rejuvenated, calmed, strengthened. It helps us with its soothing waves and sometimes gentle movements to dream. This summer, our area experienced a drought, which was even more striking to me as I'd hear from colleagues across the state about how much higher amounts of rain they were getting than usual. That's not the way that weather systems work in Ohio. I have watched the pond that is outside my apartment get quite shallow this year. I've heard that the Gulf was quite warm this season, as someone said to me that it had gotten to be too hot to swim in. Water is a powerful symbol and one that UUs have loved so much that we celebrate it every year in many of our congregations during a water ceremony and ingathering service. That service is meant to mark the beginning of the church program year, when members and friends have returned from time away or from their summer schedules and are refreshed. It was following a service created for the Women and Religion Continental Convocation of Unitarian Universalists held in 1980 that the water ceremony was brought to our congregations throughout Unitarian Universalism. Carolyn McDade, who wrote Spirit of Life, and Lucille Shuck Longview created the service and a new ritual that, as they say, spoke to our connectedness to one another, to the totality of life, and to our place on this planet. They asked some of the attendees to bring water with them from the places that they called home, and shared the significance of those waters as they poured them into a communal bowl. This was the beginning of a ritual many of us have come to look forward to each year. It is a reminder that we are all connected, that the waters all lead to the same source, and then go round the whole world again and again throughout time. This may feel especially connecting not only regarding our place among the life and lives on this planet, but also thinking about our religious traditions that remind us that we come from one love and are eventually returned to it. This year we have waters that we will pour that symbolize what is happening in our lives. On this table there are 4 mason jars with water in them. Each jar represents different ways that we might be experiencing life now or just have felt over the last year. One has salt in it for the droughts in our lives, the sorrows and sadnesses for times of scarcity or feeling lost. One has lemon in it for the currents in our lives, the zest of sweetness and sour, for change and travel and movement and new adventures. One has honey in it for the lapping of waves, the soothing of being held and carried, for times when we are filled with gratitude and community and feel sustained. The last has parsley in it for the storms of our lives, the hardships and challenges, such as times of addiction, mental illness, of heartbreaks and losses. When you come up, I invite you to pour just a little bit from one of those jars into the bowl, the one that feels the most resonant for you. When you are done, you may return to your seat. I'm going to invite you to start off and go along the line and then come through this section and then this section, going front to back all the way through so that everybody has an opportunity to come up. As we begin, I'm going to read a poem, and when I'm done, Bonnie will play some music until we have all had a chance to go. This is from Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, Rainmaker, You Could Be the Water. By the scent of water alone, the withered vine comes back to life, and thus, wherever the land is dry and hard, you could be the water. Or you could be the iron blade disking the earth open. Or you could be the acequia, the mother ditch, carrying the water from the rivers to the fields to grow the flowers for the farmers. Or you could be the honest engineer, mapping the dams that must be taken down, and those dams which could remain to serve the venerable all, instead of only the very few. You could be the battered vessel for carrying the water by hand, or you could be the one who stores the water. You could be the one who protects the water, or the one who blesses it, or the one who pours it. Or you could be the tired ground that receives it, or you could be the scorched seed that drinks it. Or you could be the vine, green growing over land in all your wild audacity. For all the ways these waters represent the fullness of life, the ways that the people here may be experiencing any of these things or something yet unnamed, we give thanks for this congregation where all are held among us. To close this out, I have a blessing for water written by Starhawk. Praise and gratitude to the sacred waters of the world, to the oceans, the mother of life, the womb of the plant life that freshens our air with oxygen, the brew that is stirred by sunlight and the moon's gravity into the great currents and tides that move across the earth, circulating the means of life, bringing warmth to the frozen Arctic and cool, fresh winds to the tropics. We give thanks to the blessed clouds and the rain that brings the gift of life to the land, that eases the thirst of roots, that grows the trees and sustains life even in the driest desert. We give thanks for the springs that bring life-giving water up from the ground, for the small streams and creeks, for the mighty rivers. We praise the beauty of water, the sparkle of the sunlight on a blue lake, the shimmer of moonlight on the ocean's waves, the white spray of the waterfall. We take delight in the sweet singing of the dancing stream and the roar of the river in the flood. We ask help to know within ourselves all the powers of water, to wear down and to build up, to ebb and to flow, to nurture and to destroy, to merge and to separate. We know that water has great powers of healing and cleansing, and we also know that water is vulnerable to contamination and pollution. We ask help in our work as healers, in our efforts to ensure that the waters of the world run clean and free, and all of the earth's children have the water they need to sustain abundance of life. Blessed be the water. If you would rise in body or in spirit and lift your voice in song for our closing hymn, number 126, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. In The Gift of Faith, Jean Harrison Newyar has written, in the lore of ancient China, there is a story of a philosopher who was asked, "Where is the road called hope?" He replied, "It does not exist, but as people move forward upon it, it comes into being." I invite you to continue moving forward on this path, this journey called hope with me.
We hope that you've found meaning in today's service. We close with these words from Alyssa Jeter. Water is soft, and yet it is persistent. Water flows and takes the shape of the boundaries it is given. Yet over time, water, in her persistence, she can carve through mountains. When you try to grab water, you just get wet. But if you can stop grabbing at her, she will hold you up, and you can float and even swim. Water under pressure cleans dirt off houses and can cut diamonds. Water raging can overflow the bounds put upon her. She can drown whole towns, flood freeways. She can put out fire and save lives. So contradictory, both soft and hard. Never dominant or submissive. Water sustains, gives, and yields to life.